The income is coming in, the payments are coming in, you are thriving, you are doing the work. And then the next thing you know, you're in that phase where there is zero client, zero income, zero nothing, and all you're left with are bills to pay. Let's talk about that slow season where you have no clients, zero income, nothing, and you just have to keep going. But in all that, you end up becoming desperate because you have no clients. So this is how I keep going when I have zero clients. Let's be vulnerable and talk. Now, let me tell you that season where it is a very slow season as a VA, you have no clients, your income is at zero, or it is coming to zero. You have zero clients, you don't know where you are going to get your next client from, and the next thing you know, you end up getting depressed. That slow season, no one will prepare you for it, and trust me, it is one of the worst seasons you would ever wish for in your VA life, honestly. So let me tell you something. Let me tell you, as this is something I've gone through, there will come a time where you have clients. You have like 3 clients, you have like 4 clients. The income is coming in, the payments are coming in, you are thriving, you are doing the work. And then the next thing you know, you're in that phase where there is zero client, zero income, zero nothing, and all you're left with are bills to pay. Ha! That slow season is the worst, and it left me depressed. Honestly, this is something I can't even lie to you about. It has left some of us depressed. It is something that I've talked about with some of my friends. It will leave you depressed because it leaves you depressed in a way of you are sending proposals, you are sending outreach messages, you are trying everything, you are building your personal brand, but you are still getting crickets. No client is reaching out. No one is responding to the messages you are sending. No one is responding to the proposals you are sending. People are ghosting you. Clients whom you thought you were going to sign, they ghost you. You end up getting depressed. All that depression coming from you having bills to pay. You don't know where your next meal is going to come from. You have reached out to people to ask for money help. They have helped, but you can't ask for more because they have been providing. Now you have to find another way. So you end up finding yourself in that depression. And then, so how do you go about it? This is how I keep going when I have zero clients or zero income. So what I do when I am in that season of I have a good number of clients, payment is coming in, my bills are paid, I have food on the table. What I do is I prepare for that phase will come when I know I will have no clients, where I know I'm getting no income, no payments, no nothing. So in this phase of I know the money is coming in, I know I have good clients, I know everything is okay. I use that phase and I save money. I don't just spend aimlessly. I don't just spend the money anyhowly. I make sure I save. I also make sure I do some investments. When you save, that money that you are saving is what will pull you out of that season where it is a slow season and you have no clients, you have zero income. It is the money that you will use to survive, basically. That is what I'm trying to tell you. Save. When you have clients, make sure you save the payments they send, the bonuses they send. Save. Use that money, remove what you will use to keep on living, and then save some. That money you are saving for some day in the future, that day will come. I wouldn't wish it to come for you because, as someone who has been through it, it is one of the worst you can ever go through as a remote worker or as a VA. But save. Make it a habit to save, guys. Make it a habit to save. Push yourself to save. Because when you save, when that phase comes, when or if it comes, that money that you saved, you will thank yourself for it. You will thank yourself for it. And don't just save small, small. Don't just save small, small. Save a good number, save a good amount of money. Because when that first comes, you will have rent to pay, you will have bills to pay, you will have you will need to to buy food to eat, and you do not know how long it is going to take. You might find yourself, it is taking you like 3 months to get a client or 4 months to get a client. So save as much as you can so that you know that I can survive on this for 3 to 4 months. I can pay rent with this to 3 to 4 months in that phase in case I don't get clients. Because if you just save small money, when that phase comes through and it gets prolonged, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, you find yourself you are not getting clients, yet you saved very little money. Then, oh, oh, I don't even want to imagine. Save, okay, I'm not, of course, it depends on how much you get in payments. It depends on your rate, how you rate yourself when you get clients. But what I'm trying to say is save as little as you can, as much as you can, save. You will thank yourself in future when that drought, is it called what? Drought, when that drought season comes through. When you have zero clients, you have zero income coming through, you are reaching out to people, no one is responding, clients are ghosting you, blah blah blah. That money used to save, then it will help you a lot in this phase. And normally it takes a good number of months for you to actually land the next client. So save, 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 save. So another way how I survive that phase when I have no clients is I reach out to my previous clients. I reach out to them and I give them discounts, or I give them a special offer. I'm like, there is, it's actually this much. I I came up with an offer. March is known as the Women's Month, the Women's Month, because it's March. We have International Women's Day. We also have is it Girlfriend's Day? I don't know, but it's basically known as the Women's Month. So I used that March month to come up with a special offer, and I reached out to my previous clients who had paused the service or who had financial issues. I reached out to them and I told them, hi, I've come up with this special offer. It is strictly for the Women's Month, and I'm reaching out to you because you're one of the clients that I value and you're a woman, blah, 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 blah. I reached out to them. I gave them the offer. I reached out to 4 clients who were women, and out of those 4 clients, 2 of them, they took the offer. So you see, come up with special discounts, special offers every now and then. That is how I also survive in that phase, in that moment, or in that situation when I have no clients at all. I create special offers. I reach out to previous clients. I tell previous clients that I either have an offer, or I reach out to them and tell them to refer me. They refer me. Some of them have referred me, by the way, when I was in that dry phase where I had no clients. How I also survive is I reach out to people if I am completely empty. I reach out to my friends, I reach out to my family, and I ask them for support. I ask them for financial support. I tell them, okay, you know what? I am dry. I have no money. I need you to help me with money. But when I get my money, I will pay you. And of course, if you have good friends, if you have family members who actually love you, who actually support you, they will give you money. They will give you money so that you survive as you find the next thing to do for yourself, as you hunt for that next client. So it is not going to be easy. You will have phases where you have clients, and you have phases where you have zero clients. You also need to prepare for that phase where you have zero clients by saving. Number one method is save, 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 so that money used for saving can push you at least 3 months, at least 3 months, so that in those 3 months, while you are using that money you saved, you can use those 3 months to land your next client. You can use those 3 months to reach out to previous clients, ask for referrals, or give them a special offer, special discount. Yes, by the time the 3 months are done and the money that you saved is almost getting done or is done, I'm pretty sure in those 3 months you'll have landed your next client. And if you have not, you can still reach out to people, to your family members, to your friends, to help you, financially help you. I'm pretty sure they can, if the people who love you, the people who support you. So personally, there is a time where I had not come up with that whole thing of saving. I need to save for the phase of when I have no clients. So I found myself in a situation of I have no money, I have no clients, I have bills to pay, I have rent to pay. I was on zero. I think I was in negatives because I was asking for help here and there. So I ended up being in negatives because I had people to pay. I found myself, I was in negatives, not just zero, but negatives. I'm not landing a client despite me doing massive outreach. I think that's the phase I sent out around 70, I think there were like 70 to 80 cold emails. And I can tell you, no one responded. I don't know whether that people was targeting, they were just not the right people, or my email was just not the right email structure or the right message I used, but no one responded. Out of those 70 emails I sent, no one, I can tell you, no one responded. And I think the people who responded, they were all saying no. Basically, I did not land any clients. So you will find yourself in that desperate situation. And when you're desperate, you end up becoming depressed. Guys, I was depressed. I was depressed in a state that you would come at my place and be like, this is why you leave. Because when you're desperate, you become so when you're desperate, you become depressed. And when you're depressed, your health also deteriorates, from the mind to the body to everything. Even where you live, the place you live, you find yourself, you're becoming dirty. You find yourself, you're not taking care of your health. You're not taking care of yourself because you are depressed. All that coming from not having clients, not having income, because you did not save for that phase when you thought you, when for that phase of when you don't have clients. Because it is through that phase of, oh my God, this is how bad it can get. I remember when I landed my next client after that phase, I was so lucky. I was so lucky. I was building up a brand on LinkedIn. I think that's when I just started out building a brand on LinkedIn. I was depressed, but despite me being depressed, I continued trying to build a brand on LinkedIn. And then a client reached out. He reached out to me. He bought my premium package, my highest package. That one client saved me so much, and I continue to thank God for that client up to now. He saved me so much. I used that money. It is through that phase of me being desperate and being depressed. I was like, okay, the next time this happens, I don't want to go through this. I just don't want to go through this again. So when I landed my premium client, I used that payment he sent through. I remember I removed 50% and I only used 50%. I saved 50% strictly for that phase. If I go through that phase again of no client, no income, no nothing, I saved that 50% for then in case it happens. I saved it, I opened a bank account for it, then I used the rest of the 50% for my living and all that. But it never happened again. Ever since then, I've never gone through that drought of zero clients or zero income. But I can tell you it was an ugly situation, and it is something I wouldn't wish on any VA. Please plan for that phase when you don't have clients. Plan for it, please. And the best way you can plan for it is save. The best way you can plan for it is don't just have one client. Don't just have one client. Have at least two. But if you can have even 3 or 4 clients, the better. But do not have one client. Do not rely on one client, and make sure you save so that that money you use for saving is what will help you when you're in that phase of when you have no clients, so that you don't end up getting depressed. You get being depressed is one of the worst things that you can go through. Being depressed is, oof, I don't even want to remember. It was not the best time for me, but I learned a lot from then, and ever since then I was like, you know what, I don't want to go through this again. I raised my rates because I knew if I raise my rates, I will work better. And when I raise my rates, it means I can save better. Saving better, I will never go through that situation again. And indeed, it has never happened again. So save and do not rely on one client if you can. If you want to rely on one client, just know there is a possibility of you going through this. And if you don't want to save, know there is an even higher possibility of you going through this. So try to do that for yourself, for the future you, for your future business, for your future self. Okay. See you in the next one. This was Let's Be Vulnerable and Talk. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and share to those VAs who would like this video. Bye.